Hey guys, and welcome to episode 6. Today I'm going to cover reverb and delay, and the reason why is because everybody's been asking. So in front of me I have the Predator project, and I'm just going to play the lead sound with the reverb and delay. And as we take the reverb and delay away, it sounds horrible. Okay, so we love reverb, we love delay. Fantastic. So how are we going to get the best reverb and delay for our tracks that are going to fit without causing too much of a mess? This is one of those things that does take a little while to get right. I remember when I first discovered reverb, I think I started putting it on everything, and it does. In a certain way, it makes everything sound better. But there is a point where it becomes too much and you start to lose clarity in your mix. So it is really important to know where to use reverb and where not to use reverb. And also how much reverb to use, how deep you want the reverb to be, and how long the decay time needs to be. So my main reverb is Redline Reverb. I'll use that on my lead sounds and even my screeches and stuff like that. Because most people don't have the Redline Reverb, I actually recreated the patch within 5 minutes in Acoustic Reverb. And I know a lot of you guys actually use Acoustic Reverb. So the patch isn't exactly the same, but does work well. I also use Echo Boy as my delay unit. You can use any delay engine you like. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to stick with Echo Boy because I don't have any other delay units that are capable of doing delays for Mac. Okay, so now in front of me I have my delay. I've been using Soundtoys for quite a while, as you can see. I think it's a Vision delay setting, so it's actually the first Code Black track. I redesigned some things to move away from the bioweapon sound, and this has stuck with me. And of course from here I can tweak it whether I want it quarter note or eighth note or whatever. And it's just a simple delay. It doesn't need to be anything ridiculous. So, you know, once you've set up your delay settings, realistically you could use them for so many tracks coming. It's not going to change your track that much. But I use this plugin for so much more. Anyone that's got the time to go through some of the presets or actually play with it, it's crazy what you can do with this plugin. But anyway, in front of me we have a really simple delay. I'm going to give you guys this preset along with the Arts Acoustic preset. But you can apply these settings to any delay you want. It's a quarter note delay. It is a ping pong delay, so it's going to bounce to the left, to the right. If you can hear that. I've got some low cut, so basically over time, if you can hear that, over time this delay will have less and less low end, and there's also a high cut, so as the delay goes on, each feedback's gonna have less and less high end as well. So it's this kind of band pass that comes in, and as the delay goes on, you get less low end, less high end by every single echo that there is. I send -3 dB as an FX send to Echo Boy, and I also send it to the Redline Reverb, but in this case I'm gonna do Acoustic Reverb. And the sound comes to life. So in this case, that's a lead sound. I always use those settings. But for, like, let's say a screech or a mid-intro sound, I have used -6 dB roughly. It just depends on the sound and it depends on the mix. So in front of me we have Arts Acoustic Reverb, and the first parameter you'll see is the decay. This basically sets the time for the reverb to disperse. So if I set this higher, you're going to have a longer reverb time. A reverb like this would really get in the way if it was your main lead sound, for example. You'd end up with a cluttered mess and you would have less clarity. And of course, if I have it too low, it's not going to give us that epic hall feeling. The next setting is the pre-delay. For this patch, it's set to 7 milliseconds, which is similar to my Redline Reverb patch. What this controls is the time before the reverb actually initializes, so you won't be able to hear it at 7 milliseconds that much. But if I crank this up, now the room design, this is pretty important to find the right depth in your reverb patches. If I take away the room size and the room width, you'll hear the patch now. So it goes from being a pretty small room to a very large, almost cathedral type effect. And of course you still have that tail, so you still have that length, which is predefined by the decay. But you can hear the difference now when you have a short decay time of what kind of room you can create. If you wanted to create a small room effect, you would definitely have to play with the room width, the room size, and the decay. And if you wanted to create the effect of being in a cave, a cavern, a church, or something like that, or a hall, you would have to be cranking up not only the decay, but the room size and the width. They all go hand in hand. To the right over here, we have some settings which can shape our sound. Now, these three boxes are linked to the decay time. So you can play with the buttons down here, or you can actually just drag this up and down. Now, I can play something, and if I pull this down, you'll hear that the high end basically disappears almost immediately, because this will link to your decay time. And you can see a visual representation up here as well. And now you hear that hissing, it just continues. So this is a good way to control and split bands, so you can have the decay time of your high end, for example, the hiss, kind of be shorter than the body of your reverb, which can be important, definitely in lead sounds. You've also got this EQ slider here, in case you didn't want any high end, or you wanted to roll off that nasty top end. You also have this EQ section here. So I've rolled off some low end, because, I mean, let's face it, we don't need low end in an effects send. And furthermore, on my actual sends over here, I have an EQ enabled. So if I just go to the equalizer, there's actually an EQ enabled on all my effects sends, rolling off the low end. And back to the plugin. So I've rolled off some low end here as well, and rolled off some of the nasty highs. And don't be afraid to play with these settings. It's always important to play with VST plugins and to figure out what each parameter does. I'm not here just to give you guys patches, but I want you guys to actually go out and learn all the parameters of these plugins, and also learn why these patches work in certain scenarios. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll see you next time.